Life is good. Hi, everyone. Karen Millspot here with Master Your Marketing Masterclass. And today, in my hot seat, all the way from Australia, one of my favorite places I've not been to yet, I have Aliky Kouroupis. I think I said her name right, maybe sort of. She is a spiritual consultant and more or less a healer, if you want to even go into that. And I hope to cover that because that's very important to me in business for, of course, entrepreneurs and business executives. So, Aliky, I'm so happy you're here. We could talk all day.
Yes, we can. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak with you.
Awesome. And I just learned that Aliky's got something in common with me. We're both single moms. So sometimes I think they say solo mom. Is that the right word for it down by you?
Well,
or is that New Zealand?
Mom, solo mom. I think it's New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what part of the country have I heard that?
Single parent, because then when, single parents.
Single parents, which equivalates to badass. That's in my opinion. So we can wear that proudly.
Absolutely. 1,000% with you on that one.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in with Aliky because I'm just want to pick at her because she's this juicy person in front of me that's got lots of gifts and talents. How did you get to where you are today? Kind of give us the background of how you end up in your own business, doing this beautiful spiritual coaching. Go for it, girl.
Thank you. Well, it really started with me being like a high achiever and a lot of energy, and I just wanted to get my hands on everything. And this started from young. So you name it, music, athletics, acrobatics, gymnastics, competitive, but to the nth degree. So whatever I touched, I would work within my strengths, just intuitively, naturally. And I'd want to do it to a level of mastery. That's just the way I'm wired. And I'm Greek, so I use my hands. So basically, when I took all of my skills and talents and then did what everybody else kind of did, is do well at school. Of course, I pulled my finger out towards the later end of the school and then ended up doing university, not just one degree, a double degree, and went straight into corporate. But wait, the day after I finished school, I'd already had a corporate job lined up. So I've spent 24 years in the corporate realm, and I am in my 40s, and I've learned a lot throughout the way in the journey. So part of what would happen is I'd get fast-tracked. Sorry, my dog wants to go out. I'd get fast-tracked and groomed for new roles, new titles every 12 to 18 months. I'd really just do so well at something, and actually to the point of burnout on many occasions. And I'd just get fast-groomed and fast-tracked to the point where I was internationally traveling. I became an expat in my early 20s. I moved overseas. I lived in the States for 10 years. So blah, blah, blah. My background's primarily health and well-being, has always maintained a status quo because, of course, I liked yoga because I was a retired gymnast. So, of course, I learned how to be a yoga teacher, but I didn't just do that once. I did that like 4 times over, and I learned to teach children and meditation. And I had this undercurrent of a high-powered corporate career run, but then also the physical, mental, and then the esoteric work started because I just knew something was no longer sustainable. So I had both going in parallel. So my background is sales, marketing, and the spiritual work actually started from very young because of my energy levels. But also I used to get given things, angel cards, yoga things, yoga videos. I attracted it a lot. And I think it was because of my spirit and high energy. And I learned to master more of my energy, which is how I kind of solved a lot of my own issues, because there was no specific solution to why I'd keep burning out, why I'd keep giving, why I'd switch from, sales to marketing to leader to mentor, and how I could coach and help my employees to be in their strengths. So I went outside of the corporate education in leading people to learn how to really lead people from their hearts.
I love that. You went outside the box. You color outside the lines. That's okay. So do I.
Oh, did you say outside the lines? I actually should switch into my US colloquialism, shouldn't I?
It's all good. I did see all the yoga stuff, and that is a huge, I mean, people just don't even give yoga the credit it really deserves.
Right. And you know what? As a woman in my 40s too, and as a single mom, I dance a lot too now. I mean, my highest value.
That's right.
just keep moving the body, and I'm agile. I can still do backflips. I still do back walkovers, handstands, but everything that I used to do as a child, because my nervous system is tuned that way, but I've nourished my body from the inside out, but I've nurtured that. So it's not like it happens overnight, but I work a little at it, just enough, the efficiency, so I've got that flow. And yoga, we do yoga to learn how to walk. It is a very basic technique that's very innate to the body's wisdom.
Interesting.
All the poses are a derivative of how we learn to strengthen our body to walk, actually, if you look back in time.
Interesting. Didn't know that. Everyone thinks, oh, it's just an exercise. It's a phase.
Phase. Or I'm not flexible enough, I can't do yoga. It's like, hey, take the flexible. If you align your spine with the divine, your back and your flexibility, if your mind is flexible and can surrender a little, the 8 limbs of yoga are quite profound, so are the sutras. And again, I don't go all sort of yoga and Hindi and Parabrahman on people, but if I need to, I can.
Right. You've got those gifts. That's beautiful. Did you have burnout in your corporate career?
Yes.
Okay. So that stems the why a little bit of helping these people.
Absolutely. So I'll be straight up front. Absolutely burnt out. And that's part of what I mentioned. It's like I get to the nth degree of the top or the hierarchy or the proud or the pride or the presiding. And I'd always have my heart in it. And I'd often burn out. And because I also didn't know how to psychically self-defense myself. I teach that, and to manage and master my energy. So I'm also withholding and understanding the esoteric side and universal law side about the particles all around us have all the answers that we need in them. Your job is to be more of you and tap into that wisdom. That's not only in your body, but through your heart and through, being grounded in yourself and your being. And when you take the time out for you to master you, everything becomes more from a place of empowerment versus disempowerment. And I learned that through burning out. And part of a lot of what I started to do, not just one-off, but the meditation, the yoga, the dancing, the movement, and the self-introspection, a lot of it, because I had burnt out a few times. And what does burnout look like? Well, the thing with me is I don't get sick, and I never have. And there's another reason why that happens for me, because of my background. And this isn't just me eating right. There's the very specific energetics. I can discern what is causing an immune problem for me and for others. But the point I want to make is I've absolutely burnt out. I haven't gotten sick. I've just burnt out. The light, the flame just goes down. So when I rebuilt the whole for that 2-week period I took off or whatever I did, I started to incorporate what gave me joy, pleasure, and contentment every single day in a way that worked. So I prevented, but I was more cumulatively resistant in my nervous system and my being to burning out. And even as a single mum, Carrie, you know, so it's Carrie as I pronounce it. Sorry, I love your name. Carrie is like, it's caring, right? As a single parent too, that awakens so much of the self-interest, resourcefulness of my soul, and imbuing that in me. So I listen to myself because, I wrote this down before I got on this call, is, intuition is faster than rational intelligence. I'll say that again. Intuition is much faster than rational intelligence. And for me to raise my son solely in another part of the world, completely on my own, it was, I breastfed for 2 3/4 years. I did everything every mum did. I was my own VC. I funded myself so I could raise my child. Then I went back to work. But I didn't burn out at all throughout that period because I'd had what I said, was my skills and my fun and my play became my lifeline. And I'm being straight up because that's exactly how it worked. And because I'd practiced what I knew worked and being me, it worked. And, thriving healthy all the time. My son's amazing. I can't complain. I listen and I take the listening very seriously.
Absolutely. And I'm very intuitive as well. And sometimes you're doing business with a client and things will just channel through you. And then later you're like, gosh, I look like I just researched that for 2 days, but it just came to me. And you can't explain it. And it all makes sense and everything lines up.
And then they'll say, how did you know that?
Yeah.
I just didn't. It was a guidance for you because we have a soul agreement for me to support and serve you. And I serve in the heights like you do. And that happens. And then when they hear that or they feel that, or you can embody it, they shift. And it's like it happens instantly. And that's why we do what we do and we love what we do and we get to share that. And there's ways that we can help people get to the other side or help uncover something else and emerge their greatness to help them get where you're actually here to be and go.
Right.
That's what I love. It gives me great fulfillment.
Beats any strategy under the sun. And strategies are great. And formulas are great. Don't get me wrong with business. They're necessary, and systems. But the energy and the flow is what most people forget in business. And I can tell you've mastered that. And I think a lot of, especially women watching this in business, we don't give ourselves that time to have soul time. And that's what I call it, soul time. The things that just it can rest and to carry and just listen and be. You know, just Sundays for me are just unplug, mental health day. Don't open the laptop. I don't care if your house is on fire and your business is burning down. I am going to go on a hike, you know, or do something that's good for me because I'm so much better on Monday. You know, I can hit the ground running. And yesterday I literally was Monday. For those that are watching this, I did like 3 days worth of work in one day because I was so revitalized.
And Carrie, I love what you said, and I want to pick up on that too. Hiking or nature. To me, that spells nature. So very important. You'd be surprised. And when I know when women are busy, particularly women, because we work on such an omnipotent level to some degree. And I know I have training to be as omnipotent as I can, which is why information comes through me. But to ground in nature, to connect to the elements of nature, even though it's like, oh, I've got so much to do. It's like, actually, if you spend just a little more time with nature and the nature of you, in soul time, as you say, in pranayama, in breathing, in meditation, in rest, deep rest, even with your children, with your animals, with your partner. And I say that in order of what probably makes you the happiest. It's just, you can't help but love them, especially if they're naughty, or the nature. So I love the sun. I live across the road from the beach by design. The beach is literally across the street right here. And I'm grounding and I'll sun gaze and I'll be with nature. And I will do that cumulatively and commit to myself every day. Like the relationship that you may have outside of you is always from within you. And I always ensure, and I know the analogy, everyone's heard it, but I'm going to say it again, is, you know, the oxygen mask on you before anybody else. And every successful business person, Carrie, that I've ever met, like we're talking the ones that I've got to interview, the ones that I get mentored by, the ones I get to exist with, the ones I get to connect with in my spiritual work, because they truly want to make an impact and they've got the billions or the multi-millions. Every one that I speak to will always share some spiritual clarity-based practice, be them men or female, and they'll always put themselves first and pay their families first before they take care of anybody else. And they're able to be that caring leader and provide jobs and whatever to hundreds of thousands of people by caring for themselves and being themselves. And that's the easiest thing for you to be. And time out with your nature, you get to master yourself a lot more versus a victim of your history that way, because everything has a blessing. You know, I call your stressings are your blessings.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, if you don't do it, you'll snap like I did at age 34 and leave everybody you know and live 2,000 miles away and disappear. If you constantly put yourself last on the list, that's what happens. You just can't.
1,000%. It happens. And Carrie, you know those clients that come to you because they want to work with you and then they come back because they've been watching you for 6 months, a year, maybe even 2 years.
Yeah.
And then there's something that I can see that I hold the space in love for. And then I don't want them to break. You know, I don't want to snap if I can, if at least empower them with 2 or 3 techniques or something. So it's amazing that you experience that, because the color and the skills that you develop from doing that is just, it serves ever greater numbers of people, and that's why you do what you do, which is amazing. And
it's a lot. It's a lot easier to clean up if you if you just give them the tools to keep from snapping versus, oh boy, we've got a disaster now. We got to clean this up.
And you know what? Interestingly enough, I think it's your full moon today, like on the 8th, and it's like the Lion's Gate, the Lion, the Leo, you know.
Yeah.
Leadership's also being questioned at this time, but also it's the day after for me too. So yeah, it's quite an auspicious time that we're having this conversation, actually, because I believe that a lot of what's happening for a lot of us is awakening what we really are here to do. Because no matter who you are, there is plenty for you. There are plenty of people to serve, and it all starts with you. And so what I'm finding, Carrie, and you can tell me if you're seeing this with your clients too, there's so many plates to potentially spin and keep spinning and fix. And I almost, if I'm going to visually represent it, it's almost like the up and down, but your essence of what's going to get you back to your flow is in all of those experiences. So if you find what is important to you, your values, and what brings you joy and contentment, not the elation, high, but the actual grace of nature's intelligence working through you, that's that feeling of love and gratitude or grace. If you find that in an essence in everything you do, you learn to let go and surrender a lot more. Because at this point, what I'm seeing is there's too much to fix, and it's tough to get ahead. And when we have the telos in mind or some vision, to the degree that it gives us contentment, we can keep actualizing and creating that vision, because the mind, you know, will snap, because the mind's not meant to go where the heart's meant to go. The mind's never been there in this existence. So I teach a lot of how to have high faith and surrender by doing more of what you love. And it tends to really work, because there's too much to do at the moment. Everyone's just so busy, and it's not going to stop.
Right. And the world's spinning faster, I swear.
Oh, by the way, did you see that the geomagnetic field, the Schumann resonance, actually quadrupled in the last 5 days?
I am not surprised.
And I was like, I just get this God rush thing, and I'm so hot. What's happening? I'm feeling good.
Yes. Oh. People are noticing. Yes, absolutely. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Good things happening for sure. I'm very energetic like you, and I can feel things, and I'd love to study astrology and what's happening, so I can at least put some irrational thought to the energy you're feeling. That's kind of how I look at it anyway. So
yeah, I love that. And you'll find, actually, Carrie, because you train and work on the cumulative ability to intuit, you know anyway. Really do. And sometimes it's good to fix on things, but even if I hear a point of like, oh, that feels very familiar, I was always thinking of doing that or whatever, but then I don't even go, oh, make an excuse, Mercury retrograde or whatever it's at, or my Jyotish, I'm in a Rahu phase, I'm going to be, you know, Jupiter next year, but it's like, well, surprise, I'm alive. I look at that, but I harmonize with it. So it's quite cosmic. Yes. You can actually harmonize with the sun and the moon and the air and the water, and then you can think a little farther, because at the end of the day, we're all here in this realm, in this dimension, but we're multi-dimensional beings. We're souls that are created in the perfection of what is the creation. And bringing that in actually helps you, like a fuzzy warm blanket, you know?
It's good stuff. It's so important to be tapped into that and understand it in a bigger picture. So I start to see with my clients, and I'm curious if you do too, and what your first steps would be. I do start to see, not just with clients, but with family members too, the beginning stages of that. I'm going to snap. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to just say goodbye to everybody and leave, run away and hide to find myself. I see the beginning stages too, and I usually jump in. And with my own sister, I started to see it. I'm like, you're going down the road I was, serving everyone, being wife, mom, everything, but ignoring this passion inside of you that, you know, and we did create her business on the side, which she just lit up like a, you know, bright light after that. And I'm like, I'm saving your marriage and your family. Just trust me on this. And thank God, I was there to see it and shift her as quickly as possible. She's my baby sister, So what are your first steps when you start to see those signs, those telltale signs with clients? Where do they go? Because they really do think, no, I just need to take on more. I can do this. I can fix it. I can hold it.
Thank you for saying that and sharing that, Carrie. I can feel that light in your heart. It's beautiful. It's warming. What do I do when I start to pick up on that? I ensure that clients don't, commit to themselves in something that they enjoy doing and find time and carve time out to do it. And when I coach or heal, I'm not that kind of coach that's going to keep you accountable and make you feel like crap if you don't do it type of thing.
Yeah.
I really tap in to what I know is going to tune their why into what they're doing. So this familiar process for you, Carrie, in the coaching and background and leadership is if I can really uncover, not just in the first session and all of them, but keep the undercurrent of what you as the client or the group I'm serving has uncovered as the what you want or what you think you want, and then the actual why you want it. Because if the sabotage or the procrastination stories that you hear, or it's like, I just don't have enough time, whatever. There's various signs I can pick up and intuit in a woman. And when I'm with them, I can mimic the wholeness for them to hold the space. So I'm not only a shoulder to lean and cry on to help you make mastery of what you think is the mess, turn that into either your message or help you find the blessings in it, because there's always polarities. We exist in polarities here. But if we can tune the why, what opens your heart and makes you feel like you want to do something from a place that is alignment with your values? Because at the end of the day, let's face it, if you won't do what's in alignment with your values, you'll never get it done. And if you don't understand who you are, you won't be able to do what you want, because there's a whole karmic disposition that I support to be able to help you with the obstacles or the blocks or the impediments or the challenge that's actually the opportunity for you to do. So the most important thing I can actually do is be in grace and listen and filter what I can to then pull something out that's going to tap into your heart and bring out that soul, that glow in your eye, and that smile on your face. And I will keep talking to you and loving you until we find that. And that's like a little breakthrough.
It is.
And that's what I look for, because unless someone's got clarity to a degree, even if they don't know what to do, I don't care. If you like running, great, let's talk about that. And let's imbue the feeling in the exercise. It's the stories, but the undercurrent feelings, what you're seeking. And that you've learned from very young. And the way you filled your voids are through your values. And so I tap into that, not only intuitively, but pragmatically, like mindset, like with the written work. So the mind's put at ease, it doesn't freak out. Does that make sense? There's a little bit of a sequence there, but it's where we go. And it's quite vulnerable for some folks, because there's some beautiful, and I will say this, and for any of you listening or watching, some absolutely powerful people and beings that have absolutely divine work to do here. And I say this as I feel a complete, chill in my being of sweetness here. No matter who you've done, like who you've been, where you've been, who you are, what you've done or not done, you are worthy of love. And the people that sometimes have had the most challenge, or the spiritual harmonizing intelligence truth, you've eaten the sandwich, or had some really crappy stuff done unto you perceivably, I'm telling you, there is power in there that we got to tap, because you have some divine essence that's desperately trying to come in for you to awaken and emerge your greatness. And I say that very caringly, because I have that real mother dharma care thing. And we awaken that. We help you feel safe again. That's partly my job.
I
feel
love
safe.
that.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's encouragement enough for anyone that is watching this that hasn't felt the courage to step forward So many go, well, I want to be this, but I'm not this. You know, they can fill in the blanks. I'm
And
not
they can
good
fill in
enough.
the blanks really well, Carrie. It's like
Oh, yes. A
each
long
story.
list.
It's a long list, and then there's this one and this one. It's like, okay, well, let's. You know, if I was in a bit of, I'd go upside down. It's like, well, let's look at everything upside down for a minute. You know,
Right.
let's turn it on its head, and then completely hit it head on, and try and uncover. You know, if you tried for a moment to flip the switch, you know, where is the blessing in this? Or if this was the bad trait, what is the positive trait?
Right.
And who would, you know, where does that exist?
Right.
There's so many ways to flip that lid, and actually think outside what is I call the construct. Because if we actually give and worship the mind, the emotions, or the will that we can train, the willpower we can train, carry to your point, like it's the stories, you're training your willpower. And this isn't just about, oh, be positive. No, I work with both sides, because then you've got more self-mastery. When you've embraced cause and effect, you can neutralize charge. And that is called light, source, soul, set point. You're not swinging anymore. You come more self-mastered. Then you train that. It's like a muscle. You've got to train that. And then eventually the left brain goes, like mine does, it surrenders.
Yep.
And it's
just lets
empty.
it be. I love that. It's something that just kind of happens. It's not an overnight thing where your sole purpose and who you are grounded in who you are and your truth. And you say no to anything that dissuades that or pulls you in the wrong direction. You say yes to everything that feels, you know, divinely connected and aligned with you. And it's subconscious thought. It's just almost like you're on autopilot after a while. Like, this is the route I'm supposed to go. I'll explain it later. I don't know why I'm going over here, but this is what we're doing. And then later, all the pieces fall into place, and you're like, shoot, you know, that was like a miracle. How did I do that? I'm brilliant. But it's just listening to the divine soul.
Yes. And Carrie, that's it. You can actually expect a miracle and a sign and a little one. You don't just want to expect the big one straight away, because guess what? You know, Rome wasn't built in a day either.
Right.
So if you find the essence of those miracles and see them and appreciate them, what you appreciate tends to appreciate it. That's actually the law of the universe.
Yep.
What you're grateful and thankful for only gives you more to be grateful and thankful. It's you're training that opening versus the resistance and the contraction. You're being open in wonder. And another thing, if it just makes anyone feel even better on this call, if you're asking yourself some questions, really go and tune into the high quality kind of questions you can ask, the really high quality questions that give you expansiveness. But if you're asking the questions, guess what? You actually know the answer.
Right.
No, I don't. How do I do this? It's like, well, actually you do. You can have a chat to Carrie or me or yourself and find out what it is that you need to do and want to do. What is your heart, soul, and body need? You know the question. You know the answers because you've asked the question. Therefore, the answers are right around you.
Right.
You can't deny it. I can prove 1,000 times over that the questions you ask, the answers are right under your nose.
Mm-hmm.
And your heart's under your nose.
That's right. It's always so clear for us. We're like, what do you mean you don't know where you want to start a business? Can't you see what you're posting and talking about every 5 minutes? Why aren't you getting paid for that?
And people are asking you for every 5 minutes. And when I talk to you about it, you light up. Yep. You have a contagious energy. Well, you know, I
get paid for that, but I do it for free. It was fun. I'll go to coffee and meet up with that person and give them advice all day. That's fun. I can charge for that. I love that. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. And that's the why. Because the new economy of disruption and of entrepreneurism is coming out in droves right now, because it's very clear that what is happening on a macroeconomic level and with jobs and automation and artificial intelligence. And again, I'm saying this, but I'm actually kind of qualified to talk about it because I'm a computing science major and I've been in tech for 24 years. But, you know, I worked at IBM too. Just go and Google Watson. I mean, there is intelligence and automation that actually makes, unfortunately, some skills redundant, and we get faster and smarter and meaner, and it's just the way it's going. So the most amazing thing you could do is actually pay attention to what's inside of you that's yearning to express itself as the new the beginning before the beginning. That's what's happening. We're emerging all these new industries and new businesses. It's happening, and it's happening rampantly now. So
it's a fun
Kerry's
ride.
here.
Get on.
It's an amazing ride. Get on it. It's the best ever. And you can actually work with people you love to work with and are inspired to receive you, and you're inspired to serve. You get to pick and choose. It's like me going in the corporate, I build a team, I break down a team, I build a team, I expand a team. And then at the levels of leadership, there's a different thing that happens. You connect differently with people. There's cliques, actually. And it starts to work that way. You get to pick and choose, and then you learn through, you get opportunities through referral.
Right.
That's the way it works these days. Yeah. So I love that you said that.
So what have you learned just with your business? And I talked to you a little bit about this before I hit the magic record button. What I'm seeing out there is a lot of inauthentic marketing, a lot of inauthentic business owners, a lot of pitching, of course, and I think we're all tired of the pitching. It gets old after a while. We've been talked at too many times. We want to be talked to. And I think authentic marketing is really the route to go. And you mentioned there's a story inside of everyone, and how to shine the light on the story and find the strength behind it. Like I think you said, find your message in your mess, and we've all gotten that. So what are your thoughts on the marketing today, and what have you found that works best for your brand and business?
I love that you asked me that question, Kerry, and I might be a little unique, but I really believe that it's the way that things will continue to move forward for people who really live their truth and lead by example. And I say this lovingly, not to preside, and I'm one of the most humble people you'll ever meet, and so please be open to what I'm going to say here. But there is the opportunity to have a platform these days, and the mindset and being talked to and kind of feel inferior to somebody else because they're doing this, and then if you really look and feel into either the truth of it, like I have this innate ability to scan truth, and a lot of us can to the degree that we can, with inner intuition exercises or scanning, whatever you do, or body testing, but I do it from a divine truth level. So there's certain I guess there's just a whole thing out there. It's like, well, let's get on the bandwagon and let's do this formula. Formulas work, but I will say this, and in business and in life, if you have a plan, then if you don't have a plan, then plan to fail. But if you have a plan, you'll plan to succeed to some degree. What tends to happen, no business plan gets executed to perfection. There's always a change. Why is there a change? Is because truth is dynamic. Your clientele will change. You will change. So for me, sitting in front of you here, Carrie, like 10 years ago, when I was working with my spiritual tutor, I have been now for 2 decades, and he's like my soul teacher. There's a connection beyond words, and the cosmic being and the love that I and respect that I have and that I receive is profound. It enables me to perform miracles with people. Where I'm going with all of this is the truth is dynamic and it's forever changing. The success that I've really had in my business, I'll say this honestly, it comes through referral, because what I do works. And I haven't tried to make, $1 million in 6 years, in 1 year, the 7 figures everyone raves on about, or the 6 figures in a month quickly. There's no point in doing that. Do I know what it is like to be worth 7 millions? Absolute. 7 figures? Yes. Have I been working since I've been 16? Yes. Have I been saving and reinvesting in myself? Yes. I've done all those things that as a true leader. I've always had a financial target, a relationship target or goals, self-development, awakening the inner leader, and a spiritual target. That's always been the undercurrent, because my health is my wealth. So where I'm going with the truth thing, when you are in your truth and authentic by nature, you want to be leading by example. Why? Because people smell a rat. And when you propose a program and someone is truly coming into your space, in your sanctuary, either in a group or individual, and there's really no structure to them getting there, or or they, you know, they won't get what they want, so to speak. It's not about, you know, what the customer wants, but they actually don't deserve what they want. They've got to work through it. The point I'm making is the framework's got to be there, because you want to lead by example and teach what you're sharing because you've experienced it. And you're able to help someone get from point A to point B because there's a roadmap and plan that can actually accelerate that and save that person a lot of grief, but also through owning both sides. So if you heard what I said, I guess there's like, if I translate that to business, well, there's some sort of plan. There's some genius in your message that wants to create some sort of outcome, and you want to be clear on who you're inspired to serve and why you're inspired to serve them, and you're usually serving a younger version of you first, because we don't want to do too much too quickly. We want to narrow that down. And like you said, Carrie, you know, it's like that person goes out, has coffee and talks all day, and it's like, oh, I'm just doing that for fun. Well, you get asked for that all the time, and you know, it's kind of like it's your innate intelligence. That's you. That's your heart. People feel they can trust you, and they'll value you more if they value their self more by making the time. Otherwise, you're going to be enabling them. And I say that loving. There's a plan, there's a vision with the telos in mind, and you know what? The how shows up, the resource, the people, the places, the things. And my business has really thrived through referral. I'll be quite candid. There's so many intangibles in my business, and it's funny because I used to sell, you know, application integration middleware, enterprise solutions. We're talking 10 million, 42 million US annually type of deals, or it doesn't matter. The money doesn't intimidate me. My point being, it's adding great value, but it's all about process. It's about optimizing process, efficiencies in process, connecting people, places, things, and processes, and creating more efficiencies. You can't but see that on a chart. You know what I'm saying? And then the results come when it's programmed and coded and implemented with infrastructure all across the world, and then actually come into a cohesive structure that embodies and enables a business to serve ever greater numbers of people, to the point of one company was serving 2 trillion transactions in peak season. So what I'm saying is the intangible is a feeling. And I don't have a scratch and sniff in a box full of feelings that I sell, but you experience it when you're in my care. And I don't know, hopefully that's net out a little bit of it, but there's a plan, there's a telos in mind. What is it that you love to do? And how do we imbue what you are, who you are, in your skills, talents, and trades, so that they merge? Because you don't want to separate, you know, you want to separate your own time, so to speak, but it's all the same thing. If you can be consistent with the family person you are, the health, the well-being person that you are, the physical well-being person you are, the nutrition side that you are, your spiritual practice, familial practice, your relationship practice, your business. If your business and money value isn't in the top 4 of your highest values, it will never be at a level of mastery. But you can tie that in, and I can help you weave that so that you get the undercurrent of being you most and all of the time in your authentic nature, because that's what creates you as a more powerful individual. You attract and magnetize more, and you've got a structure to serve from that you know you're held in and you're safe in. It's almost like the polarity of a business, you know, a mentor, a boss, or someone that you respect. You can shine and be your light, and can be successful, and you can be professional, and you can be pragmatic and responsible and spiritual and careful and faithful, and have a business.
Yes, absolutely.
Love.
Absolutely.
I hope that painted the picture. I kind of went little business, and then I went spiritual, and then I went sort of tying it together. I hope that makes sense.
It does. I think the bottom line is we're the foundation. So once you master yourself, you can master everything else around you. And the key to what you did say that I picked up on was the truth. We don't just read people's words. We feel them. We feel your marketing. And if you're not clear on what your message is, we're going to feel that scrambled fogginess too. I mean, people just don't give energy enough credit. We can feel you through your emails, through your social media posts. If you're being shady in any way, we're feeling it. Our little red flags are going off.
Yeah, they are. And Carrie, this is one thing that, you know, I say this caringly too. It's like when I pinpoint something that I know is like a potential, you know, someone's problem, but with a potential positive outcome, right? Like this is like the, you know, when you look at charts of meridians, for example, there's optimum balanced meridians and the metaphysical, emotional, physical, mental, emotional properties that a healthy line or healthy chakra has. Then you look at the negative ones. It's the same thing. You know, the ajna and your divine guidance will govern all the chakras in the body. You want them to behave. You want them to align, because if they're misaligned, they're depleted, contracted, or they're congested and they're not working. It's like some woman will come to me thinking she's got depression. It's like, honey, you got a congested hormonal gland. Like, let me fix that. And let's work through and getting the programming out of you, you know. But when I write to people, and this is partly why I've grown through referral, because I don't want to write to people to make them fearful. I want to write to people to inspire them. And the issue that we have with the way we've been trained to operate is react. Most people will do something because it's too late, like snapping, burning out too late, versus being proactive about it, because we're drawn to fear. We operate on construct that breeds a lot more fear in this realm. And I don't buy into it that much, and that's why my clients won't get off the hook. It's like there's, you know, you can break through that. Like, no, you don't have to live in that fear and guilt. The guilt holds you back. The fear keeps you ahead of yourself, like, you know, in fear, what's going to happen. And you're completely bonkers. You're not even here, because all the universe and source sees is who you are now, and the kind of energy you embody now, and what messages you're putting out there are from within. So, you know, your messaging and who you are, who you be, you can smell that a mile away. And the people that are powerful or sensitive or empathic, there's no need to live or be in fear, react to that. There's a far more optimal, efficient way to be you, you know?
Absolutely. And I love that alignment. And you do, that's where you truly attract the right clients, the right opportunities, the right business. You know, the more true you are to yourself, it's fun. You know, it's a lot more fun this way than the push energy. I like flow.
I love that. And flowing is very feminine too. It's the art of being, you know, I don't want to overuse the polarities, because we have all the polarities. I mean, we wouldn't have masculine if we didn't recognize the masculine, or you know, whether you're into men or women, whatever, doesn't matter. It's, at the end of the day, you've got the polarities, and flow is a lot of Shakti and magnetism, that's purified energy, that's got heart and soul in it. It's so powerful. It is.
You've got to have both, though, the masculine and the feminine, for flow to work. Flow to me is push energy, like skating, and then glide. Skate, glide, skate, or paddle and just let it row. You know, just row, 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 glide in the water. So you have to have both push and flow in order to get flowing in the first place. You got to have something to push you off of. So it's just having that balance in business. Some women don't know how to do both. You just kind of struggle. So there's good news. You can do both. Well, I want to talk about, I think it's called, you turn stress into success. I think you mentioned to me earlier.
Yes.
Because I know there's women on this that are listening and going, that's me. I'm trying to juggle it all, and I think I can take on one more thing, but I'm about to lose my mind. Something's got to go. You know, it's like, kids, kick them out. Husband, see you, bye. You know, or something's going to go. That's right. I'm quitting everything. Yep. And that's what happens. And I've worked with clients like you have, where I'll sit down with them and they're like, I don't even know what I want or like anymore. I have never even sat through an episode on TV of a show I wanted to watch. And I've sat with those women in that with them, and like, you don't even know what you'd want to watch on TV at an evening to yourself. You've lost yourself along the way. Let's find her. So tell us a little bit about your free offer that you have for our audience.
Thank you for asking. So this is an opportunity to literally turn stress into success. And that's where I talk about your stress into your blessings, and, you know, your mess can be your message as well. Because like I said before, there's a way to be you and more of you. So you're responsible, you're successful, you're pragmatic, you're efficient, you're careful and caring, and self-nurturing and caring above all, professional and faithful, right? So what I basically do is I guide you through a high quality question and answer exercise after a guided meditation. So the guided meditation is only 8 minutes long. And I had one woman write into me and say, look, I just did your meditation for like 5 days in a row, like you said. I'm typing because she was typing. And she's like, the relationships in my office that was quite kind of toxic all just changed. And I'm like, yep. Because I show you how to get powerfully present. Really leverage your inner core connection and alignment. And that's in the guided meditation. It's only 8 minutes because I talk you through a bit of the hows and the whys and the breath and the areas in your body where you want to stay in. But then you start to do that on your own without me. Boom, boom, you get to instantly learn that. It's a little tool. It's very high value. And look, even people, like a guy sat me down in a cafe a couple months ago. He presents to C-level clientele, like 50 CEOs, like for a conference in Sydney. He has great anxiety before he gets on stage. So I worked with him on this one technique, actually. I get the call after. It's awesome, lots of leads, loved it. Because he goes high, has the adrenaline rush and falls. But you don't have to do that. You can be you. So it's a guided meditation and then followed by Soul's Inspiration Guide. Because once you get into the you and tap that in, the breath, you then learn how to ask yourself some high quality questions and tap into that. It's a very simple, but I'm all about simple, you know, because being you and being in your heart and being grace and being love and surrendered is letting go. This is the start of you feeling that and maybe finding yourself again. And being okay with that, because it's your private time. It becomes your sanctuary. So you can play with that. And then, of course, if anyone feels they've got any questions or wants to reach out to me, looking up my programs or anything like that, I'm very responsive. I'm not that, I respond to people. Like I'm able to respond, and I allow that time because I love to stay plugged into people and what they need and what they want. It's very important for me. Even if there's a group of 50 people, I'll wait till after a presentation that I've done and I'll talk to everybody and I'll hang out for 2 hours because I want to learn more about what's important to you. So anyway, there it is. Stress into success, and it'll inspire a little more of your heart essence. And of course, my energetics, I have that imprinted. So you'll get a full hormonal balance. You'll actually have an energetic clearing of your etheric bodies, all your chakras, your meridian structures and systems. You'll feel like an energetic clearing from me. That's the best way to say it in language, but there's probably about 10,000 processes that are undercurrent in that guided meditation.
I'm downloading it right now. Right after I sold. This is what I'm doing before I start my evening. Get back. Especially going from work to play, sometimes I have a hard time dropping back into the feminine again, or when my daughter comes home from school and I'm not switched gears yet, or I'm going on a date or something. It's like, get out of business mode, Carrie. You don't have to kill anybody. Just chill out. Scale it back, girl.
And that's what I love to help women do. Actually, it's a unique gift, and when you practice it on your own, even more, whoa, it's and then it's your flow.
I love it. Well, you guys heard it. Aliky will even respond to you if you just message her. So are you a Facebook queen? Where is the best platform to reach out to you?
Absolutely. So on Facebook, my name, Aliky Kouroupis, the spelling, of course, is here next to the free gift.
Yes.
And or my website, coachwithaliky.com, VC is there. And I have a business page and my private, my friend page. So, you could just find me there. It's all on my website, coachwithaliky.com. Reach out, message me. Yeah, I'm on there. And I don't dribble a lot of stuff on Facebook either. It's just the pertinent needle movers, the stuff that opens the heart, that inspires me. So
right, absolutely. I love it. So you don't have to go through 15 gatekeepers to get to Aliky, which is always nice.
I like it that
Some
way.
do. I'm like, I hope I never get to where I'm unapproachable. Just doesn't matter how big you get. Stay humble.
I was thinking about that too, because I know some people like to scale up in business and do these programs and applications, and hundreds of people in programs. Look, that's fine. You come to my events for that, or you come to my workshops when I tour, and I'm, you know, do that. But I love to connect with people. It's very important.
Me too. Yep. Their vision becomes mine. I love it. Well, with that being said, I want to thank you again for your time today. And we appreciate you, and the free gift and the links are all on this page. So reach out to Aliky if you feel your heart's called to work with her personally, because I recommend it highly. Don't snap. Please don't snap. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. So big hugs, big love, guys. We're going to sign off. Thank you again, Aliky, for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.